Jeff, we're back for part two of our series with Jeff Marcoux of TTEC. Really enjoyed our last conversation, getting a view of what you're doing today and also what you have out on the horizon. And we've talked about this idea of how people invest in technology and how difficult it can be to make the right decision, but how rewarding it can be when you make that right decision on how you invest in tech, how you invest in your team, and how that all aligns to strategy and competitive advantage. So let's start there. Tell me about an investment in your team and technology that really paid off for you.
Yeah, the one that probably jumps that I'm most proud of, I think I'd say, is bringing serious decisions into Microsoft. I actually had the first seat there and led a ton of lunch and learns. We were going through digital transformation as Microsoft. Cultural transformation was a big deal as a part of that. So very often, as many people find at their companies, there's kind of this non-invented here aspect, or my idea is better than your idea, always going on. So that was really critical, I believe, in terms of that, of bringing in a structure and a framework and an outside perspective to help give us kind of the guardrails and guidelines on how we should actually transform and what we should be aligning to. Since Microsoft has adopted the global demand center, they're adopting account-based marketing, all of that kind of stuff that's teed up around that. But it all really was pretty fundamentally tied to bringing in that serious decisions framework and starting the education flow inside of people, especially around B2B. Microsoft did a great job in B2C, but definitely needed that help on B2B there. So that was probably my biggest one that I'm excited about. My biggest regret is kind of a win and a regret. I brought in, during my time at Microsoft, brought in one of the predictive analytics vendors, and we crushed it. We did so great. But the way big companies budget, what happened was basically the budget got cut, even though we were absolutely crushing our numbers and the ROI was definitively there. Just sometimes big companies do things like that. And so that program actually got turned off, even though we were seeing an 1,800% increase in deal size.
Wow.
As a part of that. So that was probably my biggest regret. I think I was a little bit of a young Padawan there and didn't go fight for it probably as good as I could have at the time. But that's probably my biggest regret.
Yeah. So when you think about the other executives that you know, and I reflect on our own organization and our challenges with building tech stacks, not just in marketing, but across, we build software products too. So we have a big cross-functional tech stack, right? Everybody touches technology every day. So where do you think most organizations go wrong or have an opportunity to improve when they approach managing these growingly complex tech stacks?
Yeah, I think, probably the biggest thing to start to look at is, what is your ecosystem? What are you already in on? Are you already in on Salesforce? Are you a Microsoft shop? Are you NetSuite, right? Whatever those things are, what is your ecosystem? Because while you might go out and look for the greatest, best shiny tools out there ever, your IT organization is going to hate you if integrating and making that deployment effective takes a ton of work. So what is that kind of ecosystem? What are the integrations required as a really key and important part around that? The next is really looking at what are the fundamental, or probably the most impactful things you need to do in your business, right? Do you need that big shiny stack if your primary go-to-market's through channels? Maybe not, right? Or do you just need a little bit of air cover and you're going to double down on account-based marketing, right? All of those key strategies need to feed into your tech stack as you look at that. So how does it integrate? How do they talk together? How are you going to measure success and defining that? as a key way as well, right? What's the investment and what's the expected return, right? Pretty simple kind of business school 101 things, but building that business case and moving away from what I call fluffy metrics that marketers tend to love. Right? Opens and clicks and things like nobody cares how many emails you sent. Nobody cares how many clicks you got. Nobody cares how great your social is.
Right.
What they care about is, did that drive business value and impact as they were going through that? And so those are definitely like having those clearly defined and how you're going to measure success around that are probably some of the biggest ones that I would look at. So kind of what's your world and your ecosystem, and then what best aligns to your demand gen strategy.
Yeah. Right. You're speaking our chief revenue officer's language right now too. He's often talks about, great job with those numbers. What about these numbers?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I'm blown away by how many marketers aren't doing like CAC, cost of customer acquisition, and lifetime value forecasting, right? Getting that ratio the way that you want it to, because that starts to make you as a marketer accountable to things like client onboarding and what are those sticky things that someone needs to do so that they don't churn out. And those are all absolutely critical things. And the great part is then if sales comes back or your targets for the next year come back and say, we need to hit this number, what the average sales price is by the product, and what your cost of customer acquisition is. So I need this much money to get to here. And it really empowers you as a marketer to be able to step up to the plate and start to talk about those things and know that you can have a real impact on the sales numbers of the company.
Yeah, absolutely. So my final question for you today, and perhaps there will be a part 3 and 4 of this, is describe your tech stack in 5 words.
Ooh.
And I like you said earlier, you said shiny. You said they want to buy this shiny tech stack. That was interesting. So that's what made me think of this question. 5 words, Jeff Marcoux' tech stack.
Ooh. My ideal or my current one?
Whatever you want. Whatever you want. This is your tech stack.
Robust, innovative, measurable, and impactful. I think I'm only going to use 4.
It's your call, man. So that's the acronym of the day is the RIMP tech stack.
I'm sure we could reorganize this to spell something a little bit better, but
MERP. I think prim, which is an actual word, but I think that's not a word that we would want to use to describe technology.
Yeah, fair.
Prim and proper. All right. Well, Jeff, again, congratulations on the success that you have had with technology and aligning your people to your business goals. And thank you again for sharing your insights with the AirStack community.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Have a great day.
You too.